Have you guys heard of the new 2% first home buyer product?
Special guest Michael Guerrera to go over some of the market's current top deals.
Definitely the way to go if you got the space and you're looking for a bit of extra cash.
He is single too.
The unlimited borrowing capacity trick.
The next day after I put money into gold, it dipped.
I was like, all right, we'll see if this place is really good. The whole country has no bins. After 3 weeks, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I see recently Bitcoin has dropped a bit. Has it dropped enough for you to consider putting some money in?
Are you asking if I'm going to buy the dip?
Yep. $18.
One useful tip to save a bit of money.
Rob's smarter than he looks, mate. I didn't.
That's a pretty good one.
I don't care what anyone says. You're all right.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the rate drop. Today's big news, the RBA has not moved interest rates. They've stayed on hold, and we're going to dive right into it. My name's Trimboli, founder of Refinancer. As always, I'm joined by Rob D'Agostino, the Advisor's Mortgage Broker of the Year.
Happy to be here, Dom.
And Patrick Stewart, a multiple platinum award-winning broker.
Thanks, Dom. Pleasure to be here.
Now, in today's podcast, we're going to go over some big topics. A 2% deposit, a 90% no LMI product, and we're going to go over some property that could cost over $1 million, and we're going to assess whether it's worth it. So, boys, rates haven't moved. Rob, why not?
Inflation data. It's, what is it, the past 2 months now where it's coming a bit higher?
Yeah, September quarter figures came in a lot higher than people expected. But honestly, I didn't expect rates to go down in December. I thought the last chance of a rate cut was going to be November anyway, so this doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah. Guys, is it just as simple as it's December, rates don't move in December? They don't even, they're not doing anything. Everyone's at the beach. December, rates do not move. It's going to freak people out before Christmas. Is it just as simple as that?
Aussie culture. Aussie culture. I would say so. Obviously, there'd be a bit more to it. You know, the RBA wanting to monitor the inflation figures for a little bit longer before they make a call. And obviously, with the Christmas spending and always causes a bit more of a spike than normal, you expect that these figures are going to be a bit higher as well. So I think the RBA just playing it safe.
Rob, did anyone really think rates were going to move today?
Nah, no way. I think you made a good point. Imagine if you get a rate cut in December, everyone's planning their Christmas holidays, their gifts. People wouldn't go crazy with that rate cut and their spending. Imagine
December's inflation data. And Patrick, what has been moving with inflation at the moment?
Well, up until, I would say, the September quarter, inflation was pretty steady. It was in the target range, about 2.1 and 2.4%. But the big one was the September quarter. The September quarter put inflation above the 3% target range for what the RBA wanted to be. And that's just more to do with the fact that I think consumer confidence has gone up quite a bit with the latest inflation figures. So people were a bit more confident in spending their money, and it just caused inflation to go up that spike too high.
Well, why did inflation go up in September? Is there a logical reason that anyone can put this down to?
I would say it's a lot. Well, property was the biggest driver of it. You know, properties just continued to explode. So that was the biggest cause of the CPI going up, which is the main, obviously, indicator of inflation. But it's more to do with, I would just put it down to consumer confidence. People are more confident spending their money because they're expecting rate cuts to go down. Obviously, all the media, all the news is about cuts.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I can afford to do this, or I can afford to go and buy this property or do this or do that because they know or they assume that rates are going to go down. But what happens when you assume, right? You make an ass out of you and me.
Oh, God.
My favourite joke, Paddy.
I love it. It's true, though.
There's a lag element too. Like every rate cut, it probably takes maybe 2 to 3 months for people to kind of adapt to that new repayment and start potentially spending more as well.
Yeah, well, look, you know, we can sit here and speculate on that all day, but it really, like, who knows? Like, who honestly knows? But what is going to happen going forward? Like, what do you boys predict for 2026 rate movement? Because we've all had our previous predictions, but has anyone really changed their goalposts on where we're seeing rates moving next year?
I haven't. I still think the rates are going to go down. I don't think they're going to go down as much as I initially expected. I think maybe we'll have 1 or 2 instead of, 2 to 3. But I still think rates will come down.
Right. Rob, what do you think?
I'm of a very similar opinion to young Paddy there. I think 1 to 2. Now people are spending again. It's one of those questions. Are we even going to see the rate cut? Or if we are, when's it going to be? It could be the middle of next year before we see our first rate cut.
Yeah, if I had to put my money on it, it'd be 2 rate cuts next year. But in saying that, I did predict a rate cut towards Q3 or Q4 of this year. But I'd say that's probably the odds-on bet, two rate cuts next year.
But also, so did most of Australia. Everyone expected a rate cut in November, and then those inflation figures came out, and that surprised everyone. So like you don't really know until you know type thing. No one's got a crystal ball.
How funny, we all just have to stop spending money, but we can't do it.
No. No more Uber Eats, Rob. Well, you've got another reason to stop spending as much money, mate. You got to save your pennies now.
I do.
You got an added expense to the household.
Yes, I've got a 7-week-old baby daughter, Marella.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
massive blessing, but an added cost to the budget, you could say.
Looks like the D'Agostino family loaded up on baby supplies in September, I think, and that's...
That's it. Nah.
How's
between nappies and baby wipes, the budget's blown out. Things are pretty crazy.
Well, what about for your daughter? You know,
Yeah, that's just for me.
that's just for you.
That's just for me. I wear nappies, Paddy.
Well, the interesting thing is, over the past 3 months, probably the biggest topic in home loan lending is that fixed rates went from pretty much being unlooked to them being the hottest commodity. So what happened, Paddy? What happened throughout September to, I guess, the current day with fixed rates?
I think that the bank's tune changed. So everyone, like I said, everyone was expecting rate cuts in November. The banks followed that sort of opinion, and they dropped rates.
What was
they
the
dropped
lowest?
fixed rates.
Was it 4.79 at one time?
4.79 was the lowest, yeah.
And that
yeah.
was a
That was
pretty-
for 2 years.
And people were responding to that.
They're loving it. People were loving it.
It's funny, at the first, let's say at the first half of the 4.79, it was very much question mark. But towards the tail end of that, people started moving on it. And I think that's probably, you'd have to say the 4.79 was probably going to be the right move given what we're hearing now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it came down to what people were expecting, what people's circumstances were as well with their own lives. They'd like to have a bit of certainty in their budgeting. That's what was the main attraction to the fixed rate. But also it's that risk of, if rates don't go down, let me lock in at 4.79 now. If I don't believe the hype, the rates are going to go down. Yeah. Lock in there. But I think the biggest change is now banks are expecting rates to hold, if not go up next year as well. If you look at the recommendations of the big four, not many of them are thinking that the rates will go down. So they're adjusting their fixed rates to suit that. Yeah, that's why they've gone up.
Well, naturally, people are more reactive than proactive. So that 4.79 came out. And like you said, a lot of people took about a month or two, and then everyone on the arse end of that fixed basically going up, a lot of people decided to start locking it in. Then all of a sudden, the banks started jacking up their fixed rates as soon as that inflation data came out.
Yeah, we ran the numbers and we're like, okay, 4.79's out there. People are generally on about 5.3, 5.4. So hang on, we need 2 rate drops just to get to that.
Yeah.
And then, in that time, you're saving the 60 basis points. So at worst, there was really almost no bad outcome based on prediction of 2 or 3 rate cuts.
It's just people watching the news and hearing, rates could come down. So people are thinking, fixed rates are a bit risky. But like you said, when you actually do that forward projection, 2 or 3 cuts to actually get there, it makes sense. And a lot of people that did lock in whilst 4.79 was available made a good call, I'd say.
Definitely. Well, you'd say with all likelihood, because you can never tell for sure, but with all likelihood, 4.79 at 2 years fixed would have been a great move.
Speaking of fixed rates, I just spoke to a client who's coming off their fixed rate that they locked in 21 at 1.99% P&I owner occupied, and they're coming off now.
1.9, was that a 5 year?
4 or 5 year fix, yeah.
Oh my God. And do you remember the God rate of 1.79% for 2 years?
Yep.
I remember.
They had a cashback with that as well, didn't they? I think it was like 2 or 3 grand.
I reckon that was Virgin money.
Yeah, Virgin.
The funniest thing, I reckon, for every maybe 1 in 10 clients I would propose that to, they would say, but rates could go down lower. In the Netherlands, they're in negatives.
How crazy is that?
And you just
famous last words,
You look back at that now and think, imagine being on 1.79 for 5 years. You literally would have tens of thousands of dollars in interest savings.
Just imagine it. Imagine it. But yeah, I couldn't believe when she told me 1.99. I said, still, I thought all of those had gone. And she's like, no, I locked in at 1.99. Smart person.
Smart move, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's going to suck now, coming on to 5% variable, but whatever.
Payments are going to double pretty much.
More than double, I'd reckon. It's a big loan, yeah.
Now, we're doing something a little differently this podcast. We bring in special guest Michael Guerrera to go over some of the market's current top deals.
Yeah, try my best.
Now, before we get started, Mickey, I've heard along the grapevine that you were recently listed as a rising star. Tell us a bit about that.
I'm not that cool, but I think Robbie saw this award come through his emails, and he's just like, "Hey, Cheech, you should just give this a crack, see what happens.
Yeah.
And they reached out to me the other day, so going to be in an article along with 39 other brokers across Australia. Just basically top performing new brokers in the industry.
So what is it? Mortgage Professional Australia top 40 rising star?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's huge, man.
That's a massive
Congratulations.
result.
I try my best. It's all sponging off the kings here.
Very well
And
done,
Rob.
Mickey.
And
Good
Rob.
stuff, mate.
Now,
Well
done, man.
for some context, I would wager that Michael, over the past year, has spoken to more clients than almost any mortgage broker in Australia. And I would honestly back that. If not, he'd be in the top 1 percentile. And what that means is no one better would have a gauge on the current temperature of what people are doing in terms of refinancing and purchasing and what lender deals they're looking at. So, Michael, what would you say right now we should be looking out for?
Yeah, so there's like People's Choice. Obviously, at the moment, they've got some pretty unreal rates. They are going up next Thursday, so you got to get it quick.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get the podcast out before then.
Yeah.
So their owner occupiers 5.14 variable, and their investor is 5.29 variable.
Good combo,
And if you got like decent lending, they're giving discounts on the investment stuff as well. The only thing with them is it is like you're done with your portfolio. You're just refinancing, lowest rate, building up your cash flow.
Yeah.
If you don't want to look at those guys and you're still in that kind of accumulation phase, I guess you can call it, you can still look at ANZ. I just got a really good pricing with them this morning for 5.25.
So just to clear something out, when you say you got a good pricing this morning,
Yeah.
what's listed, what you see online isn't always the case, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So sometimes if you've got like significant lending, or if a lender is targeting like a certain niche, I guess you can call it, they'll give out really good pricings for that certain type of deal.
Yeah, because if I'm just the average homeowner looking to refinance, I'm on Finder or one of these websites and I'm seeing deals there.
Yeah.
So it's not always the case, right? You
Yeah.
can still dig, like someone like yourself can dig beyond what you're seeing online to push the envelope a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. So for example, like this ANZ one, put the discount request through, came back 5.25 owner occ and 5.37 investment.
Yeah, which is good for a big
Just
bank.
off the bat. So we haven't even escalated that yet to ask for more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so
because
that's automatic.
yeah, that's just the automatic discount we got.
Yeah.
So gonna escalate it, get in touch with the guys at ANZ and see if they can even bring that down further.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So one of the crazy things is like 4 people could all be of the same bank and have a different interest rate.
Yeah.
It's all
How crazy
timing.
is that? Depending on your loan size, the appetite at the time,
Yeah.
how much equity you got within your property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's major. And the 479, that was with People's First, People's Choice at earlier this year, was it not? Or was that that was Me Bank, People's Choice for 499 or 489?
499, yeah.
499. And Me Bank still, where are they sitting at the moment?
So Me Bank, I've just noticed they've come off the boil a little bit with their pricings. So they used to be like a week ago 5.29% on rock, 5.39 investment, which is great when you got a 3k cashback.
Yeah, absolutely.
But their discounts have just come off a touch. It's now sitting around 5.34 on rock.
So it seems like it's kind of different monthly with them.
Yeah, I think with them, I know speaking to Dan quite a bit, they usually, when they're getting a lot of applications through the door, they like to provide a really quick service. So they do just decrease their discount slightly to keep things on track when there's a lot of flow. coming
Supply
through.
and demand, right?
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll be back in a month or two.
Oh, perfect.
So Mickey, what type of scenarios are you seeing at the moment, or what sort of moves can people make to make some real money?
Yeah, well, if you got the space in your property, what a lot of people or clients are looking at doing is getting a granny flat on there. It's actually, I think, the most searched thing on realestate.com at the moment
Granny
as well.
flats, yeah.
So a lot of people are getting into it.
Can you break down the numbers of a granny flat? So how much are they generally getting to create a granny flat, and what are they getting in rentals?
So usually what we're seeing is some people are getting a granny flat done for anywhere between like 100 to 200k, depending on obviously your scope of works.
Yeah.
Must have a good builder.
That's it. Or some people do it themselves. Like a lot of the tradie guys, they try to sort them out themselves.
Could you build your own granny flat?
I can't even make something from IKEA, man. So I don't know about that.
But yeah, and then the rent on that's usually there's a bit of a housing shortage, so there's usually starting at 400 and then just goes up from there.
Well, so if we break that down, if you're getting $400 a week, that's $20K a year, and you've spent, let's say, if you spend $100,000, that's a 20% per annum return. If you spend $200,000, that's still a 10% per annum return.
They're very popular. There's a reason. Of course, there are like a couple extra steps, like you got to get council approval and whatnot as well. But the granny flats are definitely the way to go if you got the space and you're looking for a bit of extra cash.
Yep.
And the good thing about them too is you can put them, if you have an owner occupier with the space, you can still put that in your backyard.
Yeah.
If you're happy to have another family living in the back.
Yeah, that's exactly
or
right.
investment, you get double rent.
Yeah.
So you got the options for both really.
Yeah. Even like with the owner occupiers, if you haven't got the capacity, some lenders are getting a lot more flexible now, where you can literally declare like, hey, we're going to be building a granny flat and it's going to be generating an income.
And they're taking that.
And they're taking it. So that helps.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Throughout most of my time in this industry, they have not been looking at that.
Yeah. So like I know ANZ, like Westpac, St. George.
Majors.
Yeah.
So they'll take that as rental income? Will they
Yeah. So like I've literally got one at the moment. The client with St. George, she can't service the cash out just on its own.
Yep.
So we need to like just tell St. George, hey, she's building a granny flat. This is the rental it's going to be earning. And they're like, all right, like we're going to go out and do a valuation of the property. And if all looks good, we're happy to fund it and factor in that income.
That's so good.
How do you evidence that with like a rental appraisal?
So it'll be the rent that's on the valuation. So it has to be a full val.
Yep.
Because they'll factor in like the construction value of the granny flat and then add that to the property value and all that good stuff. But the valuer will provide the rental that the banks will use.
Obviously, they're going to need proof that she's actually going to build the granny flat, right? They're not just going to say, yeah, no worries, chuck it on a letter, we'll be sweet.
It does get funded as like a normal kind of construction
like
loan.
a progress to drawdown. Yeah, okay. Yeah, which is chill.
Honestly, like a lot of our listeners or listener might be hearing they might be hearing some of this stuff and thinking that's a bit of like jargon or financial jargon. No, this is a legitimately insane investment idea. If you can create a 10 or 20% return and add value to your home, and sure, there's a drawback of other people living on your property, but if it's an investment and if you don't mind, it's like, is this just not a no-brainer?
It's a bit of a hack.
Or even like if you've got a place near the beach, it'd be great to set up a place like just an Airbnb. For the summer. Yeah. I mean, the lender policies haven't quite come around to help Airbnb out just yet, but it's like you see, like the returns on that are pretty good.
Wow, that's honestly such valuable advice, and a lot of people, like some people are really on it, because even I've got calls about granny flat, but you're not really getting the average homeowner ever really, breaching this topic. So it's just something to consider. It might not be for everyone, but it's just, it's something that you can really, $400 a week, man.
Goes a long way.
It's not to be sneezed at.
Not to be sneezed at. Yeah. Now, if anyone listening wants to get in contact with this man, and after hearing that, I think they'd be well inclined to. How can they get in contact with you, Michael?
Yeah, well, our website, I think it's pretty good these days. You can go book a meeting direct, like just through there.
Yeah.
So if you go through the website, you go to the team, you'll be able to find me on there. I look pretty cool. I'm in all black, bit John Wicky. You can book a meeting with me there, and we can walk through your possible options and see if we can maybe help you out.
And how about those people that just want to give you a call? What's the number? Come on, put it out there.
So number is 0491 150 992.
Give that man a call, guys, because he can help you.
He is single too.
That's his work number, everyone. So don't get too excited.
That's it. I'm going to be getting cat calls at 3 a.m. now. Cheers.
Awesome.
I had to put it out there.
But so thanks for joining us, Michael.
No stress.
And hopefully, some clients get in touch with you after that.
No worries. Thanks, guys. I'll leave the cool kids alone now.
Go make some calls, eh?
That's it. Got to leave those voicemails.
Yeah, calls aren't going to make themselves, lad.
That's right.
Awesome.
So, Dom, you're a bit of a conservative investor, to say the least. You weren't not the biggest fan of crypto, but
oh god,
I see recently Bitcoin has dropped a bit. Has it dropped enough for you to consider putting some money in, or what are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
Are you asking if I'm going to buy the dip?
Yep.
Got to buy on the dip.
Buy low, sell high.
Got to buy on the dip.
Well, listen,
moon.
I'm an advocate of going against Bitcoin.
Right.
And now that it's very low, I'm still not buying Bitcoin. Okay, listen. I get it. I get it. The crypto and Bitcoin, some people can day trade, make money. Honestly, I'm not completely adverse to just chucking like 1 to 2% of your net worth in it. But if you're asking if I'm buying the dip, no, Patrick, I'm not buying the dip. Are you buying the dip, Rob?
I've got a little bit in there. Not much though. Maybe like you said, I'm putting like 1% net worth into it.
How have you done? How have you done with your Bitcoin?
Well, I've just dropped. It has just dipped a couple thousand in the past month or
So
two.
you bought the dip and then it's dipped
No,
again.
I've been investing for the past maybe year and a half.
Yeah, right.
But
Are you up or down? That's all I'm asking.
I'm up. But like micro investing, every fortnight a certain amount comes out of my account, automatically gets paid into my CoinSpot account, and then it automatically invests into Ripple and Bitcoin.
Right, so we do that instead of putting money in the American stock exchange as a whole. Why?
No, I'm also putting money into ETFs as well.
Well, there you go.
So I'm putting into both. What about you, Paddy? Do you delve into Bitcoin?
No. No. I watch videos of people that do just because it interests me, but I don't do it myself. I'm more risk averse with my investing. So
let's,
I'm all about the ETFs.
Oh, God.
Well, to stick to Dom's conservative view, I'm not putting crazy amounts in. It's just like more of a hobby investment, you could say.
Yeah.
Well, bit of a see how we go type situation.
Wait, so you're saying even though Bitcoin has dropped so much, you still wouldn't buy it?
I'm not buying that dip, man. I'm just not doing it because it goes against my investment strategy of long-term investing, dollar cost averaging.
Fair enough.
What's your investment strategy?
My investment strategy is to dollar cost average. Like you put money periodically at the same time, regardless of when the dip happens or when the peak, because the idea is you're going to hit the best week or two of the market, and that's what matters. You're also going to hit some bad times, but if you're going to honestly day trade this stuff, I just think it's danger because it's also highly addictive, I hear as well.
Yeah.
But look, I get why people do it. I get putting a little bit of your net worth in there in dollar cost averaging, but if you're going to play like, it's gone down, let's chuck 50% of my money into it, come on.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, enough about crypto, okay?
I was going to say, sorry, before we get into the next topic, I actually, about a month or two ago, invested into gold, and literally the next day after I put money into gold, it dipped. It dropped for like the first time ever as soon as I put money in.
I think you're a bit late to that party.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But, that's the whole point. You buy a little bit of gold every year, no matter what year, anyway. So... Back to home loans, because that's the sexy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, I hear there is a 90% no LMI product, and I want you to tell me about this, Rob. And these products have come out before, and I want to know why this one is actually different.
The huge thing about this one here, so basically Ubank, they're a subsidiary of NAB. They've come out with a 90% loan with no LMI. Doesn't matter if it's an owner-occupier or an investor. But the big thing here is normally with these 90% no LMI loans of most banks, it usually is occupation reliant, medico, police officer, and so on. It doesn't matter what occupation you are, like what industry you work in, anyone can access this product. So it's pretty huge. If you want to refinance and consolidate some debt, if you want to buy a property and not pay LMI, there is a small little loading on the interest rate.
And that's definitely the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah.
How much of a penalty, interest-wise, are you copping for this facility?
Look, nothing too crazy. You might be looking at like a 30, 40 basis point jump.
That's good.
Which, you pay a little bit more interest to avoid LMI, because LMI can be 10, 15, 20 grand, depending on, the purchase price of the property.
Right.
So any day of the week, you take a higher rate over paying LMI.
So, Paddy, what would the strategy be on a product like this?
First home buyers, it's very good for them. Investment, you're able to access 10% more equity in your properties than you were to before at a much cheaper amount, basically. Use that equity, go buy another property, just keep building. It's massively a growth thing.
Who should avoid this product?
Oh, no one.
No one?
It's a good product. Unless you are a doctor who can access a 90% product with a big bank at a better interest rate. That's probably the only person who would maybe avoid it.
What about this profile of person, right? Let's say I've got a 10% deposit, but I know it's going to be really, really tough going forward. I'm not the type of person that might have extra repayments. Kind of, should I be avoiding that product because I'd be wearing that interest increase over too long? Because I imagine there's probably a break-even point, right, where the savings in LMI don't make it worth it because you're copping too much interest. And it sounds like that break-even point is actually far down the line. But I'm sure in year 5, year 6, year 7, that's probably where it tips a little bit.
Yeah, look, it's with a owner-occupier, I feel like even if you're tight, to go from renting to owning your property and paying a mortgage is always going to be better than renting. In the investor space, if you think that rate increase is going to put them in a position where there's no savings, no buffer, you shouldn't be buying an investment if you've got no savings, because things can go wrong. You might need to repair the property or something happens in life. So if you're on the edge and you're thinking about going 90% no LMI, probably not the right move until you can build those buffers in place, I would say.
Yeah.
You want it to be for someone who has like a get in, get out strategy.
Yeah.
You identify a property that's in a relatively high growth area. It's going to have a solid yield. Yeah, great. But it's more to do with the fact if that property is going to grow in value, you're going to cop that higher interest rate, like you said. After 2-3 years, you want to be able to refinance to a major or a different bank when your LVR is at 80 or below.
Or even I assume you could do it
access
with
that
the
cheaper
same.
rate.
You could probably do it with the same lender too.
Yeah, true.
Products,
True. Review the rate with them. They should be able to knock you down if their LVR tier is accurate. But it'd be looked at as a get in, get out. You wouldn't want to be there long term because you're right. The LMI cost is.
I think honestly, if anyone is thinking about this product, you probably just need to sit down with your broker and actually run some numbers.
Yeah.
Do a 5-year plan on where things look, because it sounds like maybe mostly this would make more sense, but in some cases maybe the LMI makes more sense. I think it's case by case, but it could be the difference in saving 5-10 grand over 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty huge news. Did you guys hear that the unlimited borrowing capacity trick could be on its way out?
The unlimited borrowing capacity trick.
Is that the buying it through a trust that every man and his dog were saying was the ultimate hack? Is that what you're talking about?
This is online person has 20 properties. How did they do it trick, right?
Correct. So when I came into the industry as a broker, I kept hearing, whispers here and there. There's a way to just keep getting extra borrowing capacity and never tap out. And, as I delved into it, after a few years, we did discover if you set up different entities, and those entities, when you buy a property, are positively geared, they can get written off from future borrowing every time you go for a loan. And they get excluded, essentially.
You can't have an owner-occupier loan too. Is that a factor here first?
If you want to, it would be smart to just essentially do trust from day dot.
Yeah.
But you could buy in an owner-occupier initially. It just means that loan is also always going to get factored in. Right. But the big thing that's happened recently is now in the past few years, a lot of these property spruikers have been going out there and putting it all online. This is how you keep extending your borrowing capacity and doing videos and trying to bring people in and help them buy property. But now it's exposed this trick so much that now banks are starting to pull out of that market. So just recently in the past month, I think Macquarie pulled out of that market.
Macquarie were the big ones. Yeah, Macquarie
and so
were the big ones.
there's been a light shined on this kind of hack, and banks have had to respond in fear of probably government pushback.
I think it was a misunderstanding of using trust lending. I think because a lot of people were saying as long as you buy it in a trust, banks won't even worry about it. Banks won't care about it. They'll disregard it. So like buying in your SMSF, like your self-managed super fund, but. What they were misunderstanding is that property had to be positively geared. It had to be running profitably for them to disregard it. Whereas people were saying, it doesn't matter if it's making money, losing money, going left, right, center, whatever. As long as it's, in a trust, they can get rid of it.
Well,
and there were a few lenders who were saying that, you could self-declare that the property was making money without showing financials. Correct. So that's what a lot of, I guess you could say, not dodgies, but interesting people were doing. And they were saying that that's how you use that hack.
Well, logically, if me and my partner were earning 150 grand each, should we really have 15 properties?
No.
I mean, no.
Look, I'm a massive preacher in have your owner occupier, have your investment or two, buy something in your super, do developments and stuff like that. But I think beyond that, man, like I'm sure it's profitable, but sounds like a headache as well.
Comes down to your investment goals, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like you only really need a certain amount of properties to create wealth for later in life. Like, let's be honest, we don't need 10 or 15 properties to retire comfortably.
It sounds like a lot, yeah.
Yeah, like realistically, you could buy 1 or 2 investments, park them on the side for 10 years and make a lot of money, set yourself up for a comfortable early retirement later.
Yeah.
But if you don't have 10 to 15 properties, how are you going to afford to fly in a PJ?
No, PJ. Well,
How are you going to rock a PJ if you don't have 10 to 15 properties?
Tell our viewers or our one viewer what is a PJ, Paddy?
What is
The private jet.
Paddy, didn't you just take a PJ to your homeland recently?
Nah, he was in economy.
Yeah, I was in economy.
You're in economy.
Yeah,
I would
was
have
in
blasted you if you
I'm
weren't in
tired of
economy,
that.
by the way.
Huh?
I'm the biggest economy advocate in the world, by the way.
Well, we did that trick because I went with my dad where we bought a window seat and an aisle seat to reduce the likelihood of having someone in the middle.
Oh, you didn't spend 5 times the cost to get business class to get a few extra inches?
But I had to walk through business class to get to my economy seat. And they honestly look down on you when they're sitting in business. They have their little wine and they're like, I'm like, yeah, bro, we're going to the same place and I spent $2,000 instead of 20 and you have a slightly comfier chair.
I've got a big question for you.
from the
No.
motherland.
I've got a big question for you.
Here we go.
On that flight, did the person in front of you put their seat back?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
And this is fine?
Absolutely. Because it was I was flying for 21 hours split between 2 flights. 100% they can put their seat back.
That was okay for you.
And it was a night flight and it was international. We're not going to get into that again. I also put my seat back as well.
Okay.
That's very much acceptable.
This is the only time I've heard you talk about putting your seat back and you've been logical, by the way.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway, what...
Not again. Not again.
Anyway, what did you learn in Ireland? Give us something.
I learned about eSIMs because I wasn't doing much traveling until this year, and I learned a bit about what eSIMs are and how you can use them. And I thought to myself, I'm going to plan ahead for this trip. I'm going to buy an eSIM for Ireland so I can use data while I'm over there. I don't have to rely on Wi-Fi. Beautiful. I buy an unlimited data package, 15 days, which is the length of time I was there, for all of Ireland. Perfect.
Nice.
Yep. Easy.
Cost savings, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Go to Ireland, having a blast, and then I drive. As part of the trip, we went up to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, and towns around there. And as soon as we crossed the border, my phone stopped working. Like my eSIM wasn't working. I was like, what the hell? I'm still in Ireland. What's going on? And I understand that Northern Ireland is part of the UK, and Ireland itself is part of Europe, right? I didn't realize that I had to get a separate eSIM just for Northern Ireland.
Wow.
So I had no data until obviously I could find Wi-Fi and set one up. But I had to pay an extra. I had to buy a new eSIM just for the 4 days that I was in Northern Ireland. Then I came back. I thought I could install the previous eSIM that I had paid for. No, I had to buy another eSIM for Ireland again.
So Islanders must be struggling on a daily basis with this Northern Ireland versus Ireland.
It's
issue.
a touchy subject, mate, for a long time.
Subject,
yeah. So if you ever go to Ireland specifically, make sure you get 2 eSIMs.
Make sure you get to it.
I'm with Optus, so I can just simply do the $5 a day international roaming.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about you, Paddy.
Yeah, well, I found out about that when I got back. I think Telstra do something similar.
Yeah, Telstra's $10 a day. It's kind of okay on a small trip, but on a long one.
See, I paid $77 for 15 days.
That is very cheap. It's very
unlimited.
cheap.
So there you go.
Yeah, honestly, but with Optus, how much would that be? Like
$5 a day, and it's
the same. It's the same.
People from Australia can still call and text you. Like, it's literally everything's just as per normal.
So for 75, you could have just spent the same money and had the same thing without the headache.
Yes, but I'm not with Optus. I'm with Telstra.
Okay, so it's double.
Because I like, having service, not being interrupted for random intervals. Okay. Speaking of traveling, I'm not the only one who's been traveling, mate. You've been jet setting on a honeymoon recently. You just got back. Tell us a bit about that.
I went to Japan, and honestly, when I went to Japan...
Sorry, just really quickly. Did you put your seat back?
Of course I put my seat back, Patrick. I've been completely consistent about my view on putting seat backs on plane.
Oh my God.
Where did you fly? Here to Singapore
to Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm a bit of a contrarian. So everyone's going to Japan and they're saying, oh, it's the best place ever. I love it. So I've been to China recently and I wanted to go to Japan. I was like, all right, we'll see if this place is really good. We'll see if it's really good. And so
By dumb standards.
So after 3 weeks, yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Japan's good. Japan is good.
However, there's one thing that is so terrible about this place. The whole country has no bins.
Yeah.
There's not one bin in the country, Rob. Not one.
Yeah. Well, I went there 2 years ago with my fiance, and luckily I was carrying a backpack with me. So every time I got like a coffee can or got some sweets, I couldn't find the bin, so I just went in the backpack.
What do you mean they don't have bins?
There's no bins in the country. There's just not. Look, there's bins, right? But let's say you go to a 7-Eleven. Yes, there's a bin there for your water. You're supposed to drink there, and your choices are either put it in the bin there or put the rubbish in your backpack.
So
There's
no
there's
bins on the
no public
streets.
bins at all. Like,
No bins on the streets.
Not on the street.
literally none.
They have bins in
Right.
7-Elevens. The idea is you go somewhere, you have a bottle of water or food, you consume it there, and you put it in their bin. Now, if you want to take it on the road, bad luck. Put it in your pockets, put it in your backpack. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I love consuming stuff on the go, right? Especially when you're a tourist, pumping waters, ice creams, coffee
on the go is goated.
Yeah, you name it. And like for such an incredible place that could teach us all so much about how to live, and everything was amazing, the sushi, the culture. You can't say enough great things about Japan. The no bins thing, it just killed.
Crazy.
So is the place like because I'm going in April next year, so I haven't been there before. Is it just heaps clean then?
It's so clean, man. Tokyo is the most populated city on the planet, yet it's also one of the cleanest, safest, no graffiti, no rubbish anywhere.
Yeah, wow.
Like when you think about that, we were in Ginza, you would be at the main intersection, you'd be crossing a street, you could honestly hear a bug. It was that silent. There's signs in Japan saying, don't disturb the next guy, be quiet.
Yeah. How quiet is everyone on the trains?
Oh, it's insane. It's such a cool place, but...
Well, when I was over there, I had to turn my volume down massively. Like I'd be talking to my fiance, and she'd be like, shh. And I'd be, sorry.
That loud wogness, you have to just leave it in Australia.
It's natural. Us Italians, when we talk, we sound like we're screaming. It's our natural volume.
That's it.
You know?
But you know what? You'd almost give Japan like a 98 out of 100. That's how good it is. But honestly, the no bin situation, I reckon I'm docking at 10 points.
They lose a couple marks.
It's gone down to 88. So Japan, if anyone from Japan is listening, put bins on your street and you have the ultimate world country if you just do that. That's it.
Just a
But
few
if it
bins.
isn't broken, why would you fix it?
Because it can be better. It's already incredible, but it can be phenomenal.
And the thing is, like, they'll have a vending machine in the middle of nowhere. And if you're going to be consuming coffee in the middle of nowhere, you need bins near you. Like, they're not going to put bins in the middle of nowhere, but they've got vending machines.
It's incredible how there's so much consumption and so many ways to have stuff, but there's no litter. And you can't. And like, even if you wanted to litter, not that I condone that, you can't because no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
It's just insane. So, boys, going back to what we're discussing about the fixed or variable, right now, what are you seeing? Are you seeing a little more people looking in at fixed rates still, or are you seeing variables now back in front like it was?
I'm seeing a lot more people being open to the idea of a fixed rate. They're still leaning more towards variable, but they're considering it a fixed rate. Whereas 3 to 6 months ago, no one wanted fixed.
Is this a true 50-50 kind of coin flip almost?
It was. Now, because all of the banks just started jacking up their fixed rates, now I would say the fix doesn't make sense now.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's still a couple that are lagging a bit. You know, you could still take advantage of some pretty low fixed rates, but you'd rate lock.
Yeah.
You'd pay an additional fee to lock that rate in for 90 days. Because when the fixed rates go up, it doesn't matter when you applied for it, you will get that new rate. So
I honestly
you can still do it. Yeah,
I don't think it's as easy as maybe what you. I think fixed still has a place right now. Before it might have been 50-50. I think it's probably like a 70-30 now. I still think like if someone was to fix their mortgage, you could understand why at this point. Probably variable is still.
Well, it's hard because your lowest variable is 514. The lowest fix was 479, but that's now gone up. Now the fixed rates are around just under 5%, which is dangerously close to 514. So when they're so close to one another, would you lock in for 2 years or do you just go for the variable at 514?
You could split them. You could kill two birds with one stone. You could kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Split the mortgage. Let's say you got 400 grand owing. You put maybe 300 fixed and 100 variable. You maintain the minimum payments on the low fixed rate and smash down that 100 grand. It's pretty common.
You could honestly make an argument for all three options of fixed, split, or variable. But it does seem variable is edging at the moment. But honestly, this is changing month by month, isn't it? Now it's not as black and white as it used to be.
No, it's so grey, and it depends so much on the client situation as well. If they're a bit unsure, they're a bit more conservative. They like to have that certainty. Then it's always a fixed rate.
Fixed has a stability element to
Correct.
it. Your rate's the same for X amount of time. You know your repayment's the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens with the market.
And just the opportunity.
So you do get those people that like the stability.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the new 2% first home buyer product?
So I've read a little bit about it, but what actually is it?
So the government's basically released the 2% product. It's called Help to Buy. Basically, this pretty crazy stuff. What's actually happening now is buyers need to obviously have 2%. And what the government is doing is they're actually contributing 30 to 40% of your deposit towards the purchase, which is a big chunk. But they're not actually lending it to you. They're contributing literally in cash towards your purchase.
In cash to cover the LMI or cash to actually make up some of your deposit?
Cash to actually make up some of your deposit for the funds to complete the purchase.
Wow.
So what's actually happening is on a brand new property, they're putting in 40%. On established, they're putting in 30%. So basically people are actually going to be buying properties on 60 to 70% LVRs.
So what's in it for the government though? What do they get out of it?
Here's the thing. The government, if they're putting in, let's say, a 40% stake into the purchase, they've got 40% ownership. So what that means is when you sell the property later, if your property's gone up 100K, they're taking what they put in plus 40K. They're basically taking their 40% share plus whatever they've made within their 40%.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a shared equity.
They're sharing in your equity,
Yeah.
Correct.
Homestart do something similar. They've done something similar for a while.
I don't know how I feel about that product.
Well, I guess the big benefit as well for people is if the government's putting in that 30%, you need a lower loan amount and you're only making repayments on the lower loan amount too. So it actually allows people with tighter borrowing capacity to buy properties, for higher purchase prices, essentially. The only way for them to pay out the government is when they sell, or they can make voluntary payments and eventually try to pay them out.
Guys, is this, sure, I can understand this product. Is this better than renting, though?
I don't think so. I think it's really dangerous, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. You want to get people in, and the fact that it's new home as well is because they want to build more properties to help, everyone who's coming into Australia and obviously new people who are buying their first home and things like that. But if the property doesn't appreciate in value enough for you to cash out and get rid of that guarantee or that equity, you could be stuck with them for a very long time. And if you want to refinance to a different rate or your situation changes, you're kind of handcuffed a little bit.
But if you're handcuffed with them, what happens? Is there really any poor outcome there?
Well, I mean, you're handcuffed. There's no flexibility with any of it. You could be stuck on a higher rate, for example, but you can't refinance because to refinance, you have to either maybe go with a lender who can refinance a government equity loan. I don't even know if that's even a thing still, or you pay them out. And to pay them out, you need to increase the loan. But if you don't have the borrowing capacity to service the cash out, you're stuck with the bank that you're with. And what happens when you're with the same bank for too long? Yeah. The interest rate creeps up.
Look, it only suits a very particular buyer.
Yeah.
And it's meant to help those renters that just simply can't save more than 2%. I have to disagree with you, Paddy. I think buying is always better than renting. It doesn't even matter if the government's getting a bit of shared equity. I think it's always better than renting.
That's my opinion. There's a bit, then there's 40%.
40% on new, 30% established properties.
Well, at 40%.
Assuming 40%.
I'm just saying
40% is a big chunk, but let's assume
it's dangerous.
Let's assume you're a renter. You want to buy a house. You're never going to sell and buy another house. You just want to get your forever home. You don't really need to worry about paying the government back until, sounds bad, but you die, or or you sell
Yeah.
and go into a retirement home.
I think it's another one of those not black and white things, if I'm being honest.
It's circumstantial.
Like generally, when you think about buying property versus renting, I think you'd overwhelmingly say buying property is always better. But if you are buying property like this, sure, this might be a 50-50. It might be a run the numbers, because the key factor you guys have to understand is stamp duty as well. You're paying stamp duty on that purchase. So if you are buying a property that's not going to appreciate, you're paying stamp duty, you've kind of handcuffed yourself onto the same mortgage product. Like, sure, it might still be better, but again, it's not a certainty.
No,
it's a discussion to be had, right?
Well, you got your pros and cons. Your pros are someone with lower borrowing capacity can get in. You only need to save a 2% deposit. Your loan amount's smaller because it's only on a 60 to 70% LVR.
Yep.
But then obviously your major negative is the government makes their money on the property.
The equity side. For me, just that 30-40% of the government on equity, that's probably the question mark for me.
Well, the thing is, you're only going to go for this product if you can't access a normal home loan. Like, this is your plan Z. You know, if you can't do a first home guarantee scheme or a guarantor loan or a 10% deposit, you're stuck in renting and you just don't want to be renting, then you go for this product.
On the ladder of outcomes, there's buying a property normally, then there's renting. I'm just not sure if this falls in between or on the same level of rent, same level as renting or below.
You make the argument, Rob, that owning 60% or 70% of your property is better than not owning a property at all. And there is obviously logic to that. That makes sense. But I'm just saying that it's just tough. It's so dangerous. You've got to be super careful with it. That's all. But it can help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Hence the name. And as well as that, you made that point about stamp duty. A lot of state governments now, they waive stamp duty for first home buyers,
right?
And you can stack the benefits. So you can get the first home owners grant, you can get the stamp duty.
Yep.
So there are times where that would come into it, but there's other times where it wouldn't. So it really just comes down to, and we have to keep coming back to it, is it's circumstantial, and you don't know if it's good for you or not unless you talk to your broker, really.
I think as a general rule, what I would probably say is if you can stack all those benefits, if you can stack first homeowners grants, not paying stamp duty and not renting, and you don't have any other options, I'd be more inclined to say this is probably a good product. But if you're buying a property where you're not getting those benefits, I'd maybe be on the other side of the argument. That could be a very general way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Question, do you guys think it could heat up the market a little bit more? Because that's more people have access to the market.
Any introduction of schemes will.
It's too early to say. It depends how many people get into this. Yeah.
Well, they seem to think that already the first home guarantee scheme changed in October has heated up the market.
Yeah.
So-
I guess we'll see what happens. Speaking of heating things, there was a major bank who fell in a bit of hot water recently about not setting up and not using offset accounts properly.
Yeah, that was big news in our industry.
They got fined a pretty penny for it, and they're being forced to pay back a lot of people a lot of money. It begs a lot of people who don't like offset accounts or religiously against them came out and said, this is why offset accounts are shit. This is why you shouldn't touch them. Redraw. Do we still think that offset accounts are the way to go?
I honestly hate this news story. I like that it has shone a light on, hey, just double check your offset account. But I've had way too many people bring up, but are you sure offset accounts are still the right way? Because the reality is an offset is always, redraw and offset are incredible tools.
Yeah.
And the way this should be perceived is there was one circumstance where it didn't work out, and that was terrible, and whatever bank should be penalised. And yes, you should look more into your offset accounts to double check it's doing its job, but there's still great features.
Yeah. Offset's always going to be better than redraw just purely due to flexibility. The only time a redraw is ever better is if you could get a crazy rate, much better rate than you could with the offset. But offset, if you're comparing those two features one against the other, the offset's always going to be better, and it's a no-brainer.
Especially if you're looking to buy property as an investment as well. You're always better having funds in an offset account than a redraw, more for tax purposes. So you got to speak to an accountant about that. But there's a pretty common, that's a pretty major, difference between the two.
Yep. So the big offset news, how do you treat it? Ignore, take a bit more caution, or pivot?
I'd be a bit more cautious with it. I just make sure that the offset accounts have been set up correctly. You can check in your apps on most of the major lending platforms online that, this offset account is linked to this lender's this loan account.
Yep.
Maybe double check with your broker if that information isn't clear on your app.
Yeah.
Call the bank. But just make sure that, everything's set up properly, because a lot of it was people didn't realize for so long that offset accounts weren't linked.
Yeah.
That's what caused a lot of it.
Yeah.
And obviously banks were saying that, we've set up your account when really you haven't. And now they're paying the price for it. So just it's an easy fix. Just pay attention.
Just pay attention.
But you don't really know we know it because we're in the industry, but a lot of people wouldn't, because they, all of this is very foreign to them. Yeah. So it's all like, for those people, they have to learn, and they have to, speak to their broker, get a broker who knows what they're talking about, and just make sure that they're getting that education that they know to check.
So as simple as really checking the app, and if they're not too sure, even just making that phone call to the bank, really.
Yeah. So on that topic of people not wanting to be ripped off, Dom, you had a bit of a crazy story for us that you've been noticing recently in the Adelaide market.
Well, I've been noticing it all over Australia, really. And you're hearing about, and what they're called is Greenfield Estates. And to put it in plain English, 40, 50 k's from the city, big development happens, all these land parcels pop up, and it's sexy, there's marketing, there's all these things going on, and people are just buying in. But has anyone looked at the numbers? Do you know what I mean? Have you actually broke down the value you're getting? Because, for example, there's something in South Australia going on called Riverlea. I'm seeing houses 40 k's from the city in Adelaide going for over $1 million. In fact, there was a sold house in Riverlea for $1.8 million for a brand new build. $1.8 million. And it's not uncommon to see these for over $1 million.
That's crazy.
Riverlea, yeah.
Oh my God.
Just over 450 square meters of land.
Yeah.
Look, sure, the builder's beautiful.
Yeah.
450 square meters of land.
House made of gold? Far out.
For me, I'm not seeing it.
Nah.
Like, am I missing something? You're so far from the city. Look, the way I'm looking at these types of things, and look, they're not all the same, but are you, like, how long before you create equity on this type of home? You could be negative equity for 10 years.
Yeah, I guess it remains like, if we always run the risk of the developments failing, right? Builders are falling over left, right, and center. So you've got that element as well. And then, you've been promised the world when you sign up, but you get delivered an Atlas. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Well, just today you were showing me a house at Parafield Gardens. How much was that house?
About 900.
900,000.
900,000.
And that's 15 to 20 minutes closer to the CBD.
Oh, dude, it's half an hour closer than
half an hour.
It'd take you an hour to get to Riverlea. Yeah.
How old's the build?
It's just finished.
Just finished.
Yeah. 2-story.
For me, that's not stacking up. You're seeing 15 minutes from the city at 900. Then you're seeing the same thing, another 30 minutes away.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
Adelade's meant to be the 20-minute city. You're not meant to be buying 40 minutes out from the CBD.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
It's just getting a bit busier. Maybe it's a 22-minute city.
I think people just got to maybe just look into the numbers on this stuff and don't get caught up with, everyone's doing it, it looks amazing, look at these amazing... Like the concept photos and videos look great, but just honestly, you've got to look at the numbers. Break down the land, break down the build, and actually understand what the hell it is you're paying for, because you could get something better in someone that's 15, 20 minutes from the city.
In what scenario do you think it would be good for someone to buy out there? If it's maybe their first property and they don't overextend, or
personally, I only see a market at a lower price point. Like if you're getting a very basic build on a small block of land for 5, 6, maybe 700,000 just to get you into the market. But I can't see a price point for $1 million.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. 1.8. Think about what you actually can get closer to the city, or even down west near the beach. Eastern near the hills, down south. Like, you don't need to go that far north.
And this honestly extrapolates to the whole of Australia. It's not just this specific one. So
of course. Like, Adelaide's a specific example. You're right.
All right. And look, speaking about money advice, I reckon we go around and everyone give one useful tip to the viewer about something they can do, or that person can do, to save a bit of money.
Honestly, mate, meal prepping. Meal prepping's been a godsend. You buy it all in bulk. You spend a Sunday afternoon prepping it all up, cooking it all, and you don't have to cook for the rest of the week, which is great. But also, then more importantly, you're not spending money during the week buying lunch, buying dinner, all of that sort of stuff. And if you go to Aldi, you can buy some a lot of meat pretty cheap there, and that would be my number one tip at the moment to save some money.
Meal prep.
Yep. Just don't spend as much money out.
Yeah. What about you, Rob? Anything you've got for the audience?
As we're going into Christmas, I've just done all of my Christmas shopping on the Black Friday specials. In addition to that, I've decided to venture further, and I've started doing a year's worth of shopping on Black Friday sales.
Buying.
Yeah, I've bought a shitload of toilet paper, heaps of nappies for my baby.
What ply?
What?
What ply have you gone with?
I can't remember what ply.
You can't remember what ply.
He doesn't have a toilet paper spreadsheet.
It's not the cheap one.
He didn't do the analysis.
He didn't do the analysis.
So basically, I've just absolutely loaded up on everything on Black Friday specials in advance.
It's pretty smart.
And got myself in prime position for next year to not need to pay full price on a lot of items.
And imagine that time you're saving too, Rob. Imagine the minutes, if not hours per year you save.
It's already at home. I've also got a bit of a bonus tip. As a new father, a lot of people want to visit the baby. So what me and my fiance have been doing is saying, we're a bit busy at the moment. It's a bit hard to prepare food. If you want to, cook dinner for us, you can come visit the kid and bring some food over.
I was about to say, do you charge an entry fee? But that's
family Uber is.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good one. If you're, for any new parents, you're stacked for time. So shopping's hard, cooking's hard.
Yeah.
So a lot of family have been reaching out to us and literally delivering food or coming over to visit the baby.
I love it. The exchange of see the baby for free food.
I like it.
I like it. It's a good deal. And they're happy to cook you food to see the baby. Yeah. Everyone just wants to see the baby.
Everyone wants to see the baby.
Rob's smarter than he looks, mate. I didn't.
So that's a pretty good one.
I don't care what anyone says. You're all right.
That could be 3 or 4 times a week that we've been seeing that. So that goes a long way. So I'll see how long I can stretch that for. Maybe until she's about 10 years old. See how we go. But yeah.
Awesome.
And what else? I know we're very, very late to the party. Very, very late. But do you guys remember the Dubai chocolate trends this year?
Oh, we spoke about this last time.
It. I've seen it like advertised and stuff like that, but I've never tried it.
So I remember talking about it potentially just after our last podcast, which was much earlier in the year. I ordered some chocolate ages ago, so I thought it'd be good for us to finally...
You're bringing the Dubai chocolate.
Yeah.
Is it like still nice, or is it...
Yeah, it's fine.
Where is it?
These things don't go off for a year or two. So
Nico's got the package prepared.
I was thinking maybe we can all try it, give it a bit of a rating.
Paddy, have you tried this before?
$18. What the
He's been saving on food in exchange for baby visits, so why not?
Do you want to open it up?
I'm going to let you do the honours here. So this is there like levels to this? Is this?
I think there's so many different companies and brands that are making it now.
Just let the camera see the goods there. So and for context, Dubai chocolate rose 6 months ago. Biggest thing.
What is the trend?
It's pistachio chocolate.
No, like what's so popular about it? Is it just taste good, or is it?
Yeah, it is. I have tried it, so this is my first time. I know it's both your first time. It is quite good. It's like a pistachio cream, but they've put this wafery sort of product in there that gives it like a crunch when you bite it.
All right. Are we going to do a ranking? Should we rank this?
Sure.
10 out of 10?
I do like chocolate.
I mean, let's ignore the price because this is obviously absurd.
Hey, I'm not paying. I don't care.
Oh, wow. That is a big block of...
You guys ready for... it has slightly melted.
Oh, no, I hate melted chocolate.
Split it.
This is going to be...
Hey.
Yeah, that's probably plenty, hey?
All right.
Let's,
I didn't count these in my macros.
You ready, Paddy?
Mm-hmm. We're all going to have it at the same time. I've just made a bit of a mess, but this has been in my office for a while, so there's in the cupboard. There is a chance.
That's all right. I don't mind it.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. It's like a soft Kit Kat, basically.
I think it's good.
It's good, but it is overhyped. But it is good.
Yeah, I don't get the hype.
I think it's good. If I didn't know how much that cost, I would say that is good. But I wouldn't say it's great.
$18.
Yeah, look, it's not worth $18. If you had to put a dollar figure on it, what would you say?
I would pay. It was a big block. Look, if you paid $8 for that block, I'd say that's a 7 out of 10 product.
You know what though?
I'd probably say
actually bought this chocolate about 3 and a bit months ago when it was trending. I think the price was higher, now that everyone's tried it, I think the price is stabilised a bit.
So you did the
kinda
opposite
like-
of buying the dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bought the peak.
Yeah.
Bought
so,
the peak. Oh, that's
so what would you rate it?
I'm honestly, I know I said you can't factor in the price, but I just can't not. For me, that is it's a 7 out of 10 taste.
Yeah.
But after factoring in that price, man, that goes down to like a 4 out of 10 for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
4 out of 10. No, I put it at a 5 or a 6. It's nice, but it's not you're not going to write home about it.
Yeah, this hasn't changed my life. I don't know about
I'm
you.
a bit of a sucker for pistachio. All right. What would you guys say is the best chocolate? If you had to say your favourite chocolate.
Cadbury Black Forest. Have you ever had Cadbury's Black Forest before?
No.
That shit is wild. It's very nice. It's just like a normal. It's got like little pieces of like gummies in it.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Oh,
Marvelous Creations is also really good. The popping candy Marvelous Creations is really good.
What about Cadbury marble? Have any of you guys tried
Yeah,
that?
I don't like marble.
Okay. That's crazy.
I'm a bit of a simple
that's
chocolate
good
guy.
chocolate.
I'm an Adelaide fanboy. Like, give me some haze. You
Oh,
know?
yeah,
and you know what? And Nutella. Come on, Nutella.
Hang on, how can you mention South Australian chocolate and not talk about fruit jocks?
Overhyped.
Oh my god. That is probably the single dumbest thing you've ever said to me before.
I'm happy with
I
that.
don't think you've ever said anything so stupid.
All right, guys. So that's it. Episode 3 of the Rate Drop, and this will be our last podcast for the year. So, Paddy, do you have anything to tell our audience before we head off?
Have a Merry Christmas. If you're traveling, travel safe, and we'll see you in the new year.
Rob?
Yeah, I'll just have to double down on what Paddy said. Wishing everyone a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And we'll see you guys in the new year for a big year. And hope everyone enjoys some well-deserved rest.
All right, guys, so that's episode 3 of the Rate Drop. Hope you found some value in some of our topics today. If there's anything you want us to discuss in the new year, feel free to comment. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Merry Christmas, guys, and we'll catch you next time.